Now that I have saved some money to build my dream home, I'm really confused about which estate company to approach. My friend had a bad experience with a particular estate agency after completing his payment and could not even get his title deed. This is serious.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
Thank you.
My name is Oli. I'm from EJ Investments.
Have a seat.
Thank you.
You know, I must say you came at a very right time.
Really?
I was thinking about houses.
Great.
What can your company offer me?
EJ Investments can offer you a lot. We're unique in the market.
Okay.
We own our properties and we ensure that they're developed with modern technologies. They're affordable and they are strategic locations. We don't just sell pieces of land, but we create settlements.
What makes your company different from others?
We're different from all real estate companies in the Gambia because what we have to offer is affordability, safety, and security. We ensure that you get a legal contract from when you pay your deposit, and within 4 weeks of paying your final settlement, we make sure you receive your title deed.
4 weeks?
4 weeks.
That's interesting.
Yes. Now tell me, what real estate service you need?
It's absolutely EJ Investment and Real Estate Agency.
Viewers, this is the second legislative year that has been done by the President Barrows since he came to power, and today 2018 is come to do what is referred to as State of the Nation address, and with us here is Honorable Fabakary Tombong Jatta. He's attended several of these under the previous regime. He's being a lawmaker and a majority leader, and currently the leader of the Alliance of Patriotic Reorientation and Construction Party. Honorable Jatta, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Tell us, what is your impression so far of what you've heard? We understand this State of the Union address is usually a president talking about his achievements, but also policy statements for the next legislative year. What's your impression so far?
Yeah, as you rightly said, it has two sides: achievements and at least what the government intends to do in the year ahead. Overall, various proposed amendments to consolidate democracy, good governance, etc. are excellent, very, very good. But the socio-economic aspect of it does not impact on the lives of the Gambian people. Since January 1997, most Gambians are impoverished. People's means have come down. Commercial engagements are minimal. Access to education, health is becoming increasingly difficult. And the overall outlook of the Gambia in terms of cleanliness is also absent. So there are a lot to be done, and it is important that these things are linked and ensured to at least impact on the lives of Gambians. You see, any socio-economic development that does not impact on the life of the average Gambian is not usually taken seriously.
The president has stretched out his policy agenda. What did you want to see that you have not seen, or want to hear that you've not heard?
It will be more in the agricultural sector and in the education sector. You see, in the education sector, we had earlier introduced free primary to high school education, and we intended to give university education, to make university APRC. And that I had thought the government will record these things and emphasize on them and ensure that even the university education now, the government should be considering making it free. Because you see, we cannot have socio-economic development in the absence of capacity building and informed and enlightened populace. That's critical. The other sector, that's education, is difficult for people. I have seen university students who are going out of the university, intelligent people, because they cannot afford it. You know, I was going to expect that. In the agricultural sector, You see, agriculture is such that the average Gambian farmer must be empowered. Empowerment does not only mean talking about it or going to visit them. You know, government, I hope, had regretted the taking of tractors from farmers given to them by the previous government, either women groups or youth groups or individuals. These are Gambians, farmers. I mean, you would not have expected a bumper harvest this year when you have seized all those tractors, dumped them, and they are getting spoiled. And now you are thinking about selling it to individuals. So for us to boost agriculture, we must encourage farmers, and farmers must have value for their work. We must find markets, because you see, when you talk about produce, you must also think about produce and then marketing. You know, otherwise the harvest gets spoiled, and you make sure, government must make sure that they prepare well for harvest time. You know, like granules selling, when it's time for granules buying, usually these are noted, people don't get their money on time. When women go to vegetable gardens, they should have mechanisms being put in place to ensure that their produce are preserved or bought from them and preserved and then distributed. So in the area of fisheries also, they talked about fisheries. Yes, we may have bilateral agreements, but for the Gambia,
the government has made a revenue of about $57 million
in fisheries. That is surprising to me. I don't know how. I cannot understand. I went to Tanje. Licenses, exactly. We have given all our licenses to the people, but it's not directly benefiting the Gambian people. That's the thing I'm talking about. You see, Gambians are fishermen. You know, I went to Tanje last time. I was amazed. I almost wept because you have an array of boats, 99% from Senegal. You can hardly see fish in the Gambia now. It's no more a basic commodity, and we need fish. It's expensive. For most people, it's not affordable. Where are the fish? They are all going to Senegal. In as much as we have these bilateral agreements and we are making money out of it, let's make sure that we protect the interests of the Gambian people. That's critical. Gambians need fish. We know fish. We must eat fish. And the market must be such that Gambians benefit directly in terms of employment. But
it should be indigenized.
Yeah, more indeed. You know, and if you go to the fishing ports now, most of the equipments are even gone. Now they are only done by foreigners like Senegalese. They come with their trucks and then pick all the fish and go to Senegal. Now, government should look into these issues. Gambians' interest is paramount. In the area of foreign policy, I heard him say that Gambia now we are no longer international. We have mended our bilateral relations with the West. We've gone back into the Commonwealth, etc. That's ideal. That's good. But you see,
you agree with the going back to the Commonwealth?
See, we left the Commonwealth based on principles. You know, our problem is.
You still disagree with going back?
No. If they think they can go back into the Commonwealth, I have no disagreement. What I'm trying to say is, let's not mortgage our independence and sovereignty. Let's not mortgage our defense for our people. That's why we are in government. You know, I heard them talking about creation of jobs.
But what would you have done on the issue of Commonwealth and IEC different?
No, what I'm saying is, what I am trying to say, I am not against going back to the IEC or to the Commonwealth. What I'm saying is, there are reasons. If you are in those institutions, ensure that you still have your respect and your independence and sovereignty is still protected. This is what we are. That's what I'm saying. We have been members of the Commonwealth for long. Things happen. That's why we went out. You know what I'm trying to say here is, any government, your number one responsibility, you owe it to your citizenry, no other second party. You know, and that's the difference here, because the youth repatriation now from the West. The funds they are talking about trying to create jobs, they are not going to create those jobs. You train these youth, send them out, 2-3 months training, you send them out there because they will not have employment. Why do you first of all agree to repatriate youth back to the Gambia when they are not criminals?
Well, most of these people are stuck in Libya.
No.
Over 3,000 Gambians returned from Libya.
My friend, people are coming, thousands more are coming from the United States, from Europe. Let's not fool ourselves, my friend. One of the agreements why you had this aid is to prevent Gambians from coming, and is to facilitate the return of those people. No, those things are, look, we must be respected. This is what I'm saying, we must be respected. If you are to give me your handouts for me to mortgage my people or my independence or my sovereignty, go away with it. That's what we believe in. So what we are trying to say is, it's nice to talk about these things, but it must impact positively on the lives of Gambians.
Okay, finally, how do you assess Barrow's previous year, and in terms of his policy ideas, how do you assess his policy ideas?
You see, I have said this alone. Government, for government to succeed, all hands must be on deck. I have said this. The coalition is in this array. Therefore, you can. Barrow for me looks lonely. He hardly have the necessary people around to give him the honest support he needed. That's my feeling. All are busy on the political side, various political parties, and he is independent. That's the bad side, and this has been observed over the year. Because
do you think that strengthens him or weakens him?
It weakens him seriously. It had weakened him already. It had weakened him. He is a coalition president. He needs coalition MPs. Even in parliament here, he cannot have voice. It's the various political parties who are the parliamentarians whom they talk to. The president has nothing. He is an independent man. So what I'm saying is, the various, I would have loved to see parliamentarians who are coalition parliamentarians during his presidency. But after you make somebody president, you all went away and left him. Just like,
if you were to assess him, would you place him fair or average or good or very bad?
I'll just give him 25%.
That is way below average.
Yeah, indeed. But you know that the average Gambian is dying. Education is not available. I am saying this. The basics. People are going. My friend, you are.
About the suitability of the policy agenda that is stretched out.
Yeah, these are paper documents. It's good that we talk about this thing.
Agree with some of the
Yes, indeed, and I do agree. I said it here. I do agree. I only hope it will be they could implement it. This is what I'm saying. But I also want to ensure that let's not at no time should we mortgage, should we go back into slavery. Basically, we should be Gambia. We should have bilateral agreements with any other country on mutual basis. But we cannot be allowed to be treated as second to other countries. That's what my problem is. In terms of electricity, I had commented on that. Electricity, they are doing fine, reasonably fine, but these are short-term measures. They need to do long-term. He said he inherited a poor generating these things. Then he's not fair to us. We have moved electricity from 1994 from where it was just by a little bit in Banjul and KMC to around the Gambia. And we were using these generating plants. We bought them. So if they cannot maintain it, let them say it. But bringing a boat and tapping from Senegal is not a solution. Because remember, Senegal, our relations are good. It can go sour. What happens? So what we are trying to say is, in as much as they are having these short-term solutions to our problems, let them also think about the medium and long term to make us sustainable and independent. That's all what we are saying.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much and welcome to this special interview. The Gambian leader, President Adam Barrow, has just done what is often referred to as the state opening of the National Assembly, which is to open the legislative year for the next fiscal year. With us here is the minority leader of the National Assembly, who is also a lawmaker for the National Reconciliation Party. He's been here for 2 consecutive terms under Jammeh, and in most cases, the only opposition against some major voices like Fabakary, Tombong, Jatta. Mr. Honorable Minority Leader, welcome.
Thank you very much, Mustafa, and then I thank Kerr Fatou for taking the opportunity to walk to my office and then seek for interview.
Thank you. What is your general impression on the a statement delivered by the president, the policy statement?
Thank you very much. Actually, I have listened to the president's statement. He have talked various issues that actually affecting the life of Gambians. We have heard him talking about hospital. We have heard him talking about electricity, about school, about energy. Actually, he talked various issues almost in all the sectors. Yeah, actually, I'm not yet privy to the statement itself. What I have is jotting. We have heard him also talking about the long awaiting petroleum. And we have been informed drilling might be done before the end of 2018. And we just have about 3 months before the end of 2018. Well, we have not seen any moving of in and out like machine for drilling, so on and so forth. So this is why I say long awaiting petroleum. We have had the then president from the First Republic, oil in the Gambia, 22 years of the APRC, oil in the Gambia, and now 2 years in the coalition government, oil in the Gambia. This issue, Gambians are definitely eager to know with regard of this petroleum. I think it is high time government to come out and tell Gambians what is the issue surrounding the issue of this petroleum.
If you are asking questions about oil and you are among the authorities of the National Assembly, you suggesting that there's no probably transparency around the issue?
Well, actually, I'm not saying about transparency, but I believe the citizen should be informed, because you see, the issue of oil in every country is always complicated, and every Gambian is expecting if there should be a petroleum in this country will develop to the highest level. Whether the elites or the non-elite, everybody, even you go to up countries, you have people talking about petroleum. There is a lot of expectation in petroleum. Therefore, government should inform the citizen what is surrounding this oil.
Now, you are direct representatives of the population who have come here to represent the various interests of your electorates within your constituency. During Barrows, last year he's made a presentation of some of the things that he has done for common Gambian. What's your impression of his successes thus far?
Well, actually, there is some success in this since Barrow came to power, but I believe more is expected. And before maybe it escaped my mind, in the policy statement, I did not hear about the issue of ID card, which is definitely a concern of the Gambian citizens, because Gambians now are foreigners within their own country, because if you are within your own country, you don't have an identity that could identify you as a citizen. You turn to be a foreigner in your own land. I was definitely expecting in this policy statement for a conclusion of this ID card saga. But maybe, as I told you earlier on, I did not have the statement yet. But when I was jotting, I couldn't capture anything from the Ministry of Interior that could tell us, that could inform the Gambian citizen and myself what is the position of the government with this issue also surrounding the ID card, which is very important.
You said in his narration of the past of the, before we get to the policy statements, which looks into the future, but he said in the narration of his past records, he has stated some success stories. But how would you rate his performance? Do you rate him fair or good, or could he have done better?
Actually, I will rate him fairly. I will rate him fairly because as I mentioned earlier, a lot of things are expected. You see, when the changes made in December 2016, Gambians were expecting a lot. So that means that government need to expedite their development agenda. Let me tell you, I'm part of this government, but sometimes people criticize me, and then if I sit down and think about it, I feel that they might be right. You see, for over 2 years now, it is almost 2 years, or 2 years plus when we come to power. We come to power. As others say, the only thing we boast of is freedom of expression, which is not, to me, is not sufficient. There's a lot of work needed in this country.
So, when President Barrows was talking about his policy agenda, he talked about a lot of other issues, including building 400 kilometers of roads, and also other policies such as the all-year-round agricultural, development, which is trying to do with the French in somewhere around CRR. Other than those things, what sort of things in his statement catches your attention that you think it's the thing to be pursued?
Okay, first of all, let me thank the president and the government with coming of such policies, agriculture. Because you see, agriculture, even during our school time, when we talk about those who are studying economy, they tell you agriculture is the backbone of the economy of this country. And this country cannot go as expected if agriculture is not mechanized to that level. A situation where maybe my sister, Dija, she knows something about it. I came from Sierra. I can tell you our mothers at that time, when they were using their local, their primitive tools, going to the rice field, they produce rice. We will be using that rice until the next year. We have to remove the old rice and stock in new rice. That at that level, the farming they are using is very primitive. They use our local tools. So that means that government need to focus very well on agriculture. Once they focus on agriculture can be all year around, because the River Gambia, that is the only natural resources today that I can say we are blessed of, that we can actually utilize. You see, this is why I think they think wisely to do it in Basse, where you have continuous fresh water for the whole year. Once we achieve definitely a all year round agriculture and all year round tourism, Gambia, what is our population? It's about 1.9 or 2 million. So if we have agriculture and tourism all year round, basically I think then we will achieve what we want, and it will help the Gambia.
So, but is there any other policy agenda that you wanted to hear? Because you talked about anti-corruption commission, he talked about human rights commission, but also he talked about certain investment in the health sector. But we do know there are some significant challenges in there. Where do you think more focus should be? That focus.
You actually remind me of the anti-corruption commission. You see, sometimes you have to be very smart. If they went to Brussels, they have their national development plan. Went to Brussels, sell their national development plan. Donors come in. For me, the anti-corruption commission could have been there earlier, before they go for Brussels. Because donors now, because everybody suspect Africa in general, we are very corrupt. So if you go to donors now, without having anti-corruption act that will eradicate corruption, so that means that donors might have two minds, especially if you have now with this issue of social media, everybody is informed. So for me, that also is a very important part, and then they should expedite it. You know, there is an anti-corruption act, I think 2012, something like that. But they said the content of that anti-corruption act is not enough. They wanted to come with a new one. I think this is why I'm telling you there are a lot of things could have been done. That for 2 years, you are fighting with an act which was established earlier on. It's just a matter of adjusting it, removing, strengthening, to make it strong. The weak one that does not favor, that you believe does not favor the general public, you remove it. Anywhere you feel you want to add something there to solidify it, you do it, bring it to Parliament.
So, tell us, I mean, when we are talking about transparency and accountability, anti-corruption, this building where we are, where you serve as a minority leader, it's a very crucial institution. I mean, what has Parliament been doing, ensuring?
Well, Parliament, let me tell you, Parliament did well, especially the then Park Peg. The then Park Peg have find corruption here. They recover money, a lot of money. In fact, if you look at some of the accounts that were freeze, you will see there Park Peg account. So this National Assembly did well, fighting corruption to a level, summoning so charging institution, recovering money for the money which was corrupted, which corrupt official do. So you see, the National Assembly, honestly, I believe this National Assembly will deliver to its expectation, because what I am talking about, this one is history. But at least that all oversight committees are doing their job every day.
In the coming fiscal year, as a lawmaker and also as an oversight, as a key member of an oversight institution over the executive, what do you think would be the role of the National Assembly? What do you look out for? What do you look out for?
As usual, National Assembly, we have a mandate, we legislate, we represent, and we have oversight. These are the three issues that basically is our function, which I believe we definitely dealing with it. If you look at our representation, our oversight function, I believe we are, to my opinion, I'm being a previous one and being with this one also, I already tested two, and then I know, I can always compare. This is why when I introduced that private member bill to remove Section 91D, because I know that one, it was a big impediment for National Assembly members. This was why the moment we came in power, I had to rush to remove it, so that at least National Assembly members can be free and then do their job according to their TOR or according to the interests of the people.
Section 91D is the aspect of the law that makes it possible for a president or influential member of a party to fire a lawmaker.
Not actually about the president alone, but even about party leaders. Yeah, with that section in place, your party leader can sit down in his office, he will dictate you.
What do you think that section does with the removal now?
Well, exactly. You see, if you look at our deliberation now, you know that there is no Section 91D, because we debate to the interest of the nation, not by anybody dictating us.
So, finally, we've kept you too long. The president has gone now and he's set out some policy agenda. What do you think? Do you have hope that this vision that he has will deliver the promise?
Well, thank you very much. Since we are on our final point, he have come and go. But you see, I think they should make use or make sense from the provision that give the president to come to parliament every year and address the nation. We are almost 3 months to the end of the 2018 legislative year. If the provision of the Constitution says once in a year, comes and inform members your policy and programs, that does not mean that you can do it anytime you want. You do it at the beginning of the first legislative. There you can inform us your policies and program. But now, we are in September, September, just about 3 months. So that means that from January 2018 to August, we were working blindly because we need to be informed. In fact, that's the time also you can monitor the system. Once you are informed, policies and programs that government want to execute in a year, within a year, that could inform us, and then we can monitor, because monitor also is part of our job. So that's my final point. Maybe by next year, let them look at it and do it at the right time so that we can be guided and government can be guided.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.